Well, we have the fine molds and we have the Bandai. I know one is Jango Fett's, the other is Boba's, but at least we have them in the same scale to compare. I do have the fine molds 1/72 Slave I that's Boba's, but I don't really want to compare those two because they're not the same size. So we can take a look. Let's start with the Bandai kit and opening the box. It is molded in color. I know, you gotta weather this thing to make it look right, so molding that in color doesn't do much good, but they did mold the engine intakes in clear. So you can light this. They're starting to pay attention to lighting. Got some pretty good detail on there. You notice the big ridges around the clear parts to keep them from getting scratched while they're in the box. Okay? We have more of that here with the underside and engine parts. That's the back panel of this kit. Here's the wings. I wonder if the wings move. I bet they do, knowing Bandai. Some more, completely molded in color. So if you want to paint it, you already know what colors to paint it. That's the fun part with Bandai. And we have the bottom part, and it's got one of the larger bases, labeled Star Wars Base 8. We have a larger base because it's a larger model kit. Then we have the directions. We'll look through the directions, then we'll start looking at parts. Okay? So let me move the camera up a little bit so I can get in here and change the angle of things just a little bit. Live on camera, bad angle work, bad person, bad. There we go. Alright, we have the sprue map layout like always on Bandai. This one's not a fold out, it's an instruction book. We have the pilot, it does come with a full interior. Okay? And yes, it does have the lower interior with it, so you would be able to see that. The back panel looks pretty good. Looks like we got all the parts lined up for going on that back panel. Okay. And the wings, and I can't tell as of yet, but it looks like the wings will move if they're assembled properly. More work on the wings. We can see more of it here. And then we put the laser guns on and the stand. And it comes with nice edging for the stand. Okay. This is one of the better stands if you ask me. I like the stand that way. Ah, remember on the Cloud City? That's why they did the stand the way they did. You can pull the action poser out. Change the stand up a little bit so it's like part of the landing pad for the Cloud City. And yes, the wings do move. And you can rotate the cockpit too. Wow, I didn't know that. The cockpit and the wings move. You can pull the glass off and move the cockpit from the looks of it. That's cool. Okay. Painting guide. Yep, someone painted that because that's not the raw plastic. It comes with 2 Boba Fett's and a Han Solo in carbonite. I don't know if you guys can see that. You should be able to. But just for fun, we'll zoom that a little bit so you can see. Right there. It comes with 2 Boba Fett's and a Han Solo in carbonite. Sorry for the yawns. I'm very tired. I've had a rough time at work. Very nice painting guide too. So let's put that aside. Let's look at some of these sprue. Don't really want to open it unless I have to, because this keeps things from getting scratched up. Now, scratching isn't that big of a deal, but it is when you don't want to have to sand and finish. So there's the base. You can tell the base isn't going to be too small of a ship. I'll open the bags I'll probably open the bags before we're done with the video, because we're going to take a look at the fine molds kit, and you got to be able to directly compare them. I like how Bandai does this, and it did come with decals and stickers. The Gundam kits, you never know what they're going to come with. The Star Wars kits seem to come with both. That is a good thing, Bandai. You should put both in both types of model kits. And there's that part. And let's take a look. Here's this sprue. I don't think I'm going to have a hard time telling the Bandai parts from the fine molds parts, simply because, well, I bet fine molds is all one color. Plus this is Jango Fett's version, so there will be some differences. There are some differences between the two. Okay. I've never opened this, you can tell. Fine molds did the canopy really nice in its own little tub, like Bandai's been doing. A few little decals there. This is all one piece with fine molds, and there's the back panel we can pull for comparison's sake. The base is there. And there's the rest of it. You can see fewer parts, I think. Directions, but they give you a better painting guide. So fine molds did some things right, Bandai did some things right. If we could put the two companies together, we would actually have very, very nice models. Very nice. Because, again, fine molds did some things right. Their kits went together well. You know, they just weren't. Oh, the stands are set up so you can put both Jango and Boba's together. Let's start at the beginning of the directions. The directions here are a fold out though. Okay. We have the sprue map. Looks like we have a full interior on this one. It looks like fine molds might have beat Bandai on that interior. We'll look them up in a minute and see. And we get the wings here. I don't think the wings move and the interior doesn't move, but hey. This is printed on cardstock. Bandai's is printed on like magazine stock. Looks like there's a good detail on both. I don't think the wings move on Jango's. No, on the fine molds I would say they don't move. So let's start looking at some of the sprues side by side, shall we? So I'm going to go ahead and open up some of these baggies. Just so we can see. Mr. Thunderpaws is upset with me for closing the door on him. Have to close the door. The wife and brother-in-law are watching a football game and they don't let me watch with them. It's not being mean, it's just whenever I tend to watch, the team they're rooting for tends to lose. So I don't watch the game. I watched too much of it already. The team's losing already. We'll see if the team can pull it back out. I'm not a big football fan either. Anyhow, I'd much rather be in here doing this. Being honest with all of you. Okay. Now, we got one of the fine molds out of the bag. It's got nice panel lines on it. I can't complain. Some of them are raised. Some of them are engraved. Okay. But it looks like they did well on these parts. The parts that I've got open so far. I'm going to go ahead and open this other one because I want to compare the back panels of the two kits, because that's probably where most of the detail is. There will be differences, but I'm looking at detail and I'm looking at how well they look. Okay, there's the back of the fine molds kit. Now let me get the Bandai kit out. We'll hunt down interiors in a minute and take a look at the interior too and see the difference. Now the Bandai bags I don't need a knife to cut open because, well, I don't. They're a different kind of plastic. First off, you're going to be able to tell we have a different scale as well. Or pieces are missing, and this is not very indicative because, again, pieces are missing. It is not completely there. So I can't say if they're a different scale or not just off these parts alone. Okay? We have interior parts here too, which, if I bring it up to the camera, it is going to take like 20 seconds to focus. There we go. You can see the interior parts and you can see the engraving on this part. And if I bring this up, you can see they just put all the detail in one spot. instead of Bandai putting on many different parts. So it's kind of hard to compare. Let me open a different bag so we can get an idea of size comparison. Because there's a quick way to compare the sizes. The windshields. Okay. First off, we can put the toes over the top of each other, and they are the exact same size. So if you have the fine molds kit and the Bandai kit and you put them side by side, you won't know the difference by the size, unlike the TIE Fighter and a few of the others where the scales are different. On this case, they seem to be the exact same size. And I don't expect details to be the same because one's Boba's and one's Jango's. One has a heck of a lot more parts than the other too. That windshield is just clear right there. Just really nice and clear. I'm putting that back in the bag before it even gets hinted at being scratched. Okay? And it came in its own separate bag, just like the fine molds kit came in its own separate bag. You know, looking at them, they're different model kits from different companies. I wouldn't poo-poo one over the other, being honest with you, after taking a close look at them, because they are different. The Bandai kit's got moving gimmicks. It's got a base that turns into the Cloud City base, and you can just set her down on it. That's nice. Okay. The fine molds kit had a base that, well, you could put both Slave I and Jango's version back to back, put them on a little rotating display, and they would rotate. And then you could say, hey, you know, look, here's both of them side by side. See if you can see the differences. So, you know, it just depends on who you are and what you want. On this time, I would say either one is a good model kit. They're both high quality, both nice, and I can't say one is better than the other. One has more parts, that's for sure. The Bandai kit has more parts. But more isn't always better. And that is the truth to life. More is not always better. Seems that way sometimes though. Because, you know, you get too many model kits, where do you store them? You can't keep buying them. You run out of room. Alright, well, hope you liked that out-of-box review. I didn't show all the parts in immense detail, but at this point in time, you guys already know the Bandai kits are good. The fine mold kits are good, and in this case, I would say they're almost equal in quality. Pick one and get it, whatever's cheaper, if you want a Slave I. And we didn't look at the Slave I from, Boba Fett's version from fine molds, but I think if you really want a Slave I kit, you should go out and find this one. Until Bandai comes out with a similar scale. Because nothing's going to beat the scale of this guy. And I bet this guy has some very, very nice detail on it. From the looks of it, it does. The full interior, the whole works. Okay? So, until Bandai comes out with a large version, this is the one I would like. But hey, I got them all, so I'm good. Alright everyone, I'll be back. Hope you enjoyed the little review. Alright everyone, we have yet another Bandai model kit review. The most notorious bounty hunter in the galaxy, Boba Fett. Okay. Molded in fine color, I might add, which I would repaint. It's even got part of his cape here, and that is not, that's molded in soft rubber, that's not molded. You probably can't repaint that. That's not molded in the same kind of plastic, and yet it's on the same sprue. Bandai is doing some fun stuff with their kits, let's just say that. Lots of polycaps right there. Looking at the next one, we got arm plates. It looks like he comes with lots of weapons, comes with good shoes. It comes with Star Wars Base 3. Stickers and decals. I'm glad to see the decals. I wouldn't want to sticker this guy. Definitely going to have to do some seam filling on this guy to make him look right. He's going to look blocky and robotic if we're not careful. Well, it's body armor. What do you expect? painting guide, kind of a close-up look at the completed model. I think if you paint this right and do some salting on that helmet, it's going to come out good. And the armor, and I would do salting or hairspraying or whatever you feel comfortable with. I did some experiments with that at one time, never carried it through all the way. But there's the sprue map right there. This one's a little bit more complicated one, the Stormtroopers. For some reason this starts here. You start with the head, then the body, waist, right leg, left leg. It's kind of similar to the Stormtrooper, or equipment, and then right arm. Here, let me start back here. You can go a little bit slower. You got your head, and then your waist, right leg, left leg, equipment, right arm. Flip it to the back, and where we went over the painting guide, the title, the sprue map, and then we got left arm and the backpack. Okay. And all the weapons. He's got a pistol and a rifle. Okay. Now, while I'm putting this part up and getting ready for the next part, somebody might say, why are you reviewing these? We can't buy them. You can buy them if you want to look hard enough. I'm going to say that for sure, because I can find them. I did get this from Hobbylink Japan. This was the last box I received from them. I received it a while back. I've just been so busy with work that I haven't gotten into anything. I'm not worried about scratching these up, so I'm going to open them and take a look. Parts of the helmet there is backpacker here. This is mainly body pieces. Hands, arms, legs. This one's going to... I wouldn't build this out of the box and expect it to look decent. This one's going to need some paint and some work. Okay? It's going to look like exactly like a toy if you don't paint it and weather it. Yeah, I can do that in a little bit. Let me set these parts aside. Trying to put them back in the bags, but it takes too long. I don't think I'm going to open this bag because it's just his shoes and a couple of gun pieces. Okay? So I'm not going to open that bag. I'll go ahead and open this bag though. This one's going to be a short video because there isn't too much to this. It's a bigger box than the Stormtroopers and a few of the others. But there isn't much to him. Yeah, that's definitely not the same thing as this. Okay? And you have your body pieces molded here, and you're going to have a seam on that if you're not careful. So you're going to have to fix some seams to make it look right, because that's going to give seams. No way around it, and they're going to be visible. And that's a textured seam, which is even more fun to deal with, but I've dealt with those before. So this looks like this one will be fun, and here's the polycaps. The polycaps allow the joints to move, so he'd be fully posable, but that one looks like it's actual piece. I'm not sure. Not until you build it. Well, anyhow, again, this is going to be a short review because there isn't much in the box. Okay? It's molded fully in color. It looks good. Really good to my eyes. You're going, if you can get one and you want a Boba Fett, I'd get it. Let's just put it that way. I would get it because you're not going to come across a Boba Fett easily anywhere else. That's for sure. And eBay, Amazon, they're still available, so you're going to pay a little bit more. That is how it is. Get on there and buy it if you want it. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to get working on the UFO ship because I got a few minutes left in my night. See ya.